In this video, I'm going to convert this into something like this. And I want to have this unknown column because it's a very useful column. For example, as I've told you before, in previous videos, if the unknown percentage is, for example, between 5 all the way up to 10, it's very ideal for me. But for example, if it's above 25%, I myself don't like using that source for language learning. So let's do it. So in order to do so, the first thing that we need to do is to know where the Lute application is located. We have talked about how to know where the Lute application is located in the previous videos, but let's review that. In order to do so, you should search for ideally on the search of Windows, and you should click on this. And after that, here you should simply type import Lute, and you should press enter. And here you should simply type print, and inside these parentheses, you should simply type Lute dot underline underline file underline underline, and here you should press enter. So you should copy only this part of this path. Let's close this. And you should paste it here and you should press enter. And this is the location, the folder of the Lute application. And in order to change the things which I mentioned, you should go to the folder called templates, this one. And then you should go to the folder called book. And here, as you can see, we have something called table listing. So first of all, because maybe you make some mistakes, so that's why I suggest you to make a copy of this file so that you don't ruin this file. So you should press Ctrl+C on your keyboard and Ctrl+V in order to make a copy of this file. This is the copy, or let's say backup of this file. And if you made any mistake and it caused your program not to work properly, so you can use this one. Anyway, but now let's change so this was for the backup purposes, but actually let's use this one. In order to open this file, I right click and open it using Notepad. You can use whatever text editors that you have. That's it. And here in this file, as you can see, the first thing that we can see is this table. So we want to change this table. First of all, I don't need the tags column. And instead of that, I want to have, for example, a column called unknown. I want to have a column called unknown. So that's it. And by the way, I want to change the order as well. For example, I want to copy this one. I want to cut this piece of code. And let's delete this line. And let's put my cursor here and press enter. And I want to paste it here because I want to put it after the word count column. So actually, the first column is title. The second one is language. The third one is word counts, and the fourth one is unknown, and so on. So actually, this was step number 1. And now let's talk about step number 2. So now you should scroll down until you see this one, which says column DEFs, which means column definitions. The first one is book title. The second one is a language name. The other one is tag list, which we don't need it because we have deleted that tag column. So let's select this one and let's delete this line. So as you can see, the targets is 0, 1. So this should be 2, not 3. So we should change this to 2. That's it. And put your cursor here and press enter and paste this piece of code, which I put in the description below. So this is a piece of code, and as you can see, its targets is 3. So this was step number 2, but now let's talk about step number 3. So in order to do so, you should just scroll down. So here you should scroll down, yes, until you should scroll down until you see this one, which says render book title. So as you can see, this is the start of this function, and this is the end of this function. So you should put your cursor here. So step number 3 was to find this one, which says render book title, and put your cursor here and press enter. Once again, press enter. And now you should copy a code, which I will put in the description. So here's the code. You should copy that. And I copy this. So, and here I should paste that. That's it. And step number 4 is to press Ctrl S on your keyboard in order to save this file. And now we can close this notepad. And now we need to close this command window because as you can see, the Lute application is running. We need to close the Lute application completely. So that's why I need to close this command window. And once again, I need to open this command window. And by the way, I have talked about how to open this command window and all of these stuff in previous videos. Anyway, so here I simply type python-m lute.main and I press enter. And now you can see the Lute application once again is running. So we have closed the Lute application and we have launched the Lute application again. Now I go to the Lute application and I press F5 on my keyboard in order to refresh this page, and that's it. As you can see, this is word count and this is the unknown column. And this is the percent, and in the parentheses is the number of unknown words. And if you click on this column, you can sort based on this column. I'm clicking on it again and again and again, so you can see I can sort based on this column. And maybe some other people want to change this column as well. Maybe instead of having a word count, they want to have unique word count. What do I mean by that? I mean, how many unique words have been used in this source? Because, for example, the word the, or the word an, or, for example, for, about, and these kinds of things, probably they have been used a lot of times and more than one time. So, and every time they have been counted. But maybe you want to only count the unique words and have the unique word column, not the word count column. So let's do that as well. So once again, we should edit this file. So I right click and open it using Notepad. And suppose that this is the beginning of the file. So this is the beginning of the file. And now I should scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down until I see this one, columns definitions. And instead of saying word count, instead of typing word count, you should replace this with this one, which says distinct count. And I will put this in the description below. Anyway, so you should replace that with distinct count, which is going to count the number of distinct, the unique words. And you should press Ctrl S on your keyboard. And once again, you should close this command window and you should open the command window again. And here you should simply type python-m lute.main and you should press enter. And now we can see the Lute application is running. And now if I go to the Lute application and I press F5 on my keyboard, you can see all of these stuff are now the number of unique words. And maybe you want to change the title, the header of this column as well. In order to do so, you should go to that notepad, that file which we have talked about, and you should scroll up. And here we can see this is the name of the column, word count. And suppose that I want to change it to something like this. Number of, for example, U dot means unique and words, and let's delete this one. So number of unique words, and let's press Ctrl S on my keyboard. I don't need this notepad anymore, so let's close it. And I should close this command window. And once again, I should open it. And here, once again, I should simply type python-m lute.main. That's it. The Lute application is running. Let's refresh the page. And that's it. We have changed that as well. By the way, I should mention that if you reinstall this application, if you uninstall this application and install it again, or if you update this application, those changes that you have made in this application, in these folders and in these files are going to be evaporated. So if you want to keep them, you should make a copy of these files and later on do the same thing again. And by the way, the other funny solution is to not update or reinstall this application, which is not a good thing, but that's another solution as well. But it's a funny solution and it's not a good solution.